Hey friends, welcome to the Singapore Market Digest for April 30th, 2025. I'm Iggy from the Investing Iguana, and today we're diving into what's been happening on the SGX. Whether you're new to investing or a seasoned market watcher, I'll break down the latest news and numbers so you can stay on top of your game. Let's start with a quick overview of the market mood. The Straits Times Index, STI, has been moving in a mixed fashion lately, reflecting the push and pull of earnings season. Some stocks have taken a dip ahead of their results, while others are holding steady or even edging higher. This is pretty normal during reporting season, as investors react not just to the numbers, but also to expectations and the outlook for each company. It's a time when the market can feel a bit jittery, with every new announcement having the potential to swing sentiment. Now, let's get into the details with our featured companies for today. We'll look at what's driving their results, how their shares are moving, and what it could mean for investors like you and me. First up, Wilmar International. Ticker symbol F34. Wilmar is a heavyweight in the agribusiness sector, with operations that stretch across the globe. They're involved in everything from palm oil plantations to food processing and sugar milling. If you've ever bought cooking oil or sugar in the supermarket, there's a good chance Wilmar had a hand in getting it to your table. Wilmar just released its results for the first quarter of 2025, and the numbers are looking strong. The company reported a 13.5% jump in earnings, reaching $343.9 million, up from $302.9 million in the same period last year. Revenue also rose by 3.3%, coming in at a $16.2 billion compared to $15.7 billion previously. So, what's behind this growth? According to Wilmar, the main drivers were better performance in their food products, plantation, and sugar milling segments. This means that not only are they growing the top line, but they're also managing to keep costs in check and improve efficiency in key parts of their business. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite these positive results, Wilmar's shares actually closed down 3.8% at $3.02 on Tuesday, before the earnings were announced. Why would a company's stock drop right before it reports good news? Sometimes the market is reacting to rumors or expectations that are already baked into the price. Other times, investors might be taking profits after a recent run-up, or they could be worried about broader issues like commodity prices or currency movements. It's a reminder that share prices don't always move in lockstep with earnings, especially in the short term. Let's shift gears to ST Engineering, ticker S63. Another major player on the SGX, ST Engineering is a diversified engineering group with businesses in aerospace, electronics, land systems, and marine. They're known for their work in defense and public infrastructure, but they also have a growing presence in commercial sectors. This week, ST Engineering announced that a wholly owned subsidiary is issuing $750 million in 5-year notes, with a fixed coupon rate of 4.25%. These e-notes are set to be issued on May 8th and will mature in 2030. The proceeds will be used to refinance existing borrowings, which is a smart move to manage debt and potentially lock in lower interest rates for the next few years. For investors, this kind of bond issue can signal that a company is confident in its ability to generate steady cash flow and meet its obligations. It also shows they're thinking ahead about how to manage their balance sheet. However, the market's reaction was a bit muted. ST Engineering shares fell 0.4% to close at $7.32 on Tuesday. Ahead of the announcement, this could be due to a variety of factors, including broader market sentiment or concerns about rising interest rates. When companies issue new debt, it sometimes raises questions about future interest costs or the need to refinance again down the line. Still, for a company with ST Engineering's track record, this move is generally seen as part of prudent financial management. Next, let's talk about Sheng Siong, ticker OV8, one of Singapore's most familiar supermarket chains. Sheng Siong has built a reputation for value and convenience. With stores located in heartland neighborhoods across the island, the company has been expanding steadily, and that growth is showing up in the numbers. For the first quarter ended March 31st, Sheng Siong reported a 6.1% increase in net profit, reaching $38.5 million, up from $36.3 million a year earlier. Revenue climbed 7.1% to $403 million, driven by contributions from 8 new stores opened over the past year and higher festive sale During IREIT in March, gross profit also rose to 122 million, a 10.2% increase from 110.7 million previously. This tells us that Sheng Siong is not only selling more, but also managing to keep costs under control and improve margins. Despite these strong results, Sheng Siong shares closed at 1,074, down 0.6% before the news was released. This is another example of how the market can sometimes be hard to predict. Investors may have been expecting even better numbers, or perhaps they're cautious about the outlook for consumer spending in the months ahead. It's also possible that some investors took profits after a recent rally in the stock. Whatever the reason, Sheng Siong's performance highlights the importance of looking beyond the headline numbers to understand what's really driving a company's results. Now, let's turn our attention to the real estate investment trust, REIT sector, which is always a hot topic for income-focused investors in Singapore. REITs offer exposure to property markets and often pay regular dividends, making them a popular choice for those seeking steady returns. First up in this space is StarHill Global REIT, ticker P40U. StarHill Global invests in retail and office properties across Asia Pacific, including prime assets like Wilmar International and in Jian City on Orchard Road. For the third quarter of its 2025 financial year, StarHill Global reported net property income, NPI, of $37.9 million, up slightly from $37.7 million a year ago. The improvement was mainly driven by the appreciation of the Malaysian ringgit against the Singapore dollar and lower operating expenses. However, this was largely offset by higher rental provisions for its China property, the loss of income from the divestment of some Wilmar International office units, and the depreciation of the Australian dollar. Revenue for the quarter remained flat at $47.6 million. Reflecting the mixed impact of currency movements and asset sales, StarHill Global's units closed unchanged at $0.495 on Tuesday. For investors, the key takeaway here is that currency fluctuations and asset management decisions can have a significant impact on REIT performance, even when the underlying properties are stable. Moving on to Far East Hospitality Trust, or FEHT, ticker Q5T. FEHT focuses on hotels and service residences in Singapore, making it sensitive to trends in tourism and business travel. The trust reported a tougher quarter, with net property income falling 8.3% to $23 million and revenue dropping 6.8% to $25.2 million. The main reason for the decline was lower master lease revenue from hotels and service residences due to the absence of major events compared to the same period last year. Big events often drive up occupancy rates and room prices, so their absence can have a noticeable impact on earnings. Despite the weaker numbers, FEHT's stapled securities edged up 0.9% to $0.555. This suggests that some investors may be looking past the current softness, possibly betting on a rebound as the events calendar picks up later in the year. It's a reminder that markets are always forward-looking, and sometimes a dip in earnings can create opportunities for those willing to take a longer-term view. CDL Hospitality Trusts, or CDLHT, ticker J85, is another major player in the hospitality REIT space. Like FEHT, CDLHT is exposed to the ups and downs of the travel and tourism sector. The trust reported a 14.2% drop in net property income to $30 million for the first quarter, while revenue slipped 2.8% to $63.4 million. These results reflect the ongoing challenges facing the hospitality industry, including competition, changing travel patterns, and the timing of major events. Interestingly, despite the lower numbers, CDLHT's units rose 0.3% to $795. This could indicate that investors believe the worst may be over, or that the current price already reflects the challenges facing the sector. It's also possible that some are attracted by the trust's yield or the potential for recovery as travel demand picks up. Let's now take a look at First REIT, ticker AW9U, which invests mainly in healthcare properties in Indonesia, Singapore, and Japan. Healthcare REITs are often seen as more defensive, since demand for healthcare services tends to be stable regardless of economic conditions. However, they're not immune to challenges, especially when it comes to currency fluctuations. First REIT reported a 3.3% drop in distribution per unit to $0.58 for the first quarter, compared with $0.06 a year ago. Rental and other income fell 2.8% to $25.4 million. While net property and other income also slipped to 28% to $24.6 million. The manager attributed the decline to the depreciation of the Indonesian rupiah and Japanese yen against the Singapore dollar, which reduced the value of income earned overseas. This was partially offset by higher rental income from properties in Indonesia and Singapore. First REIT's units closed flat at StarHill 255 before the announcement, suggesting that investors were not surprised by the results. Finally, let's check in on IREIT Global, ticker UD1U, which focuses on European office properties. IREIT reported an occupancy rate of 88.7% at the end of the first quarter of 2025, up slightly from 88.5% at the end of last year. The improvement was driven by new leases signed in the Spanish portfolio, which helped boost the committed occupancy. The weighted average lease expiry stood at 5.7 years, supported by new leases and no expiring leases during the quarter. Aggregate leverage, which measures the trust's debt relative to its assets, held steady at 37.7%. This was the result of a voluntary partial loan repayment of 5 million euros related to the Spanish portfolio, offset by a lower cash balance from the distribution payment and loan repayment. IREIT's units closed flat at $23 on Tuesday. So, what's the big picture from all these updates? We're seeing a real mix of results this earnings season. Some companies like Wilmar and Sheng Siong are showing solid growth in both revenue and profits, but their share prices didn't immediately reflect the good news. This could be due to high expectations, profit-taking, or concerns about the broader economic outlook. Others, especially in the hospitality and REIT sectors, are facing headwinds from currency movements and softer demand, but there are signs that investors are looking for value or betting on a recovery down the road. It's also clear that currency fluctuations are playing a big role this quarter, especially for companies and trusts with significant overseas exposure. The strength or weakness of the Singapore dollar against other currencies can have a big impact on reported earnings and distributions, even if the underlying business is doing well. For investors, the key takeaway is to look beyond the headline numbers and dig into what's really driving each company's performance. Are they growing through new store openings, like Sheng Siong? Are they managing their debt prudently, like ST Engineering? Are they exposed to currency risks, like First REIT and StarHill Global? And most importantly, what's the outlook for the sectors they operate in? As always, it pays to do your own research and think about your investment goals and risk tolerance. The market can be unpredictable in the short term, but over time, companies with strong fundamentals and good management tend to do well. That's the scoop for today. Remember to do your own research before making any investment decisions. This is Iggy from the Investing Iguana, signing off. Take care, and I'll catch you in the next Market Digest.